Hi, Rajlakshmi, to the latest episode of Hangout with UK. And a lot of people are already aware of your tremendous efforts and selfless service to nature and environment. However, as only for the formality's sake, I will introduce you. Ever since early childhood days, Rajlakshmi V Patil has donned many hats. She is a climate warrior, poet, social activist, a talented public speaker, and parallelly, she keeps preparing for her exams. Multifaceted, empowering, holistic are the words that best describe her biography. Last year in the lockdown period, she has participated Beat Air Pollution campaign in collaboration with United Nations Environment. In fact, this morning itself, when many of us would be comfortably enjoying our Sunday naps, Rajalakshmi was already out there, out of her zone, to clean Mumbai's Mithi River in collaboration with Beach Please India, founded by Mr. Malhar Kalambe. So, welcome to the episode of Hangout with UK, Rajalakshmi Patil.
Thank you so much for that introduction, and it's absolutely my pleasure to be talking to you today.
So let me ask you one thing. I mean, nobody is going to bother you if you like really don't clean up beaches or plant trees or raise voice against mangroves. So I really want to know, why do you do what you do? I mean, in spite of already having so much on your plate, what motivates you to continue your crusade for the environment?
I think there are many reasons that kind of motivate me to go there and protect the environment. But for me personally, I feel like it's just the fact that we have only one home, and that is the environment, in fact. And it's in the end as human beings who need to protect our home, and it's just that simple duty as a human being to go and protect our home out there. I feel that's the biggest like motivating factor for me, because in the end, who's going to do it? If not us, then who else? And that's what motivates me to go out there and go clean our home. I never say go clean the community or go clean nature. I like to say our home, because this is where we're going to live for the rest of our lives. And if not us, then who? So that's the big question. And of course, we see the various benefits that the environment, the various ways in which the environment has helped us. And we owe it not only to we owe it not only for all those benefits that it continues to provide us, but as a simple human being, that's why I feel the drive and the need to protect the environment. So that's primarily why I participate in these activities. And of course, I think most of y'all will be knowing that I used to study in Switzerland. And, whenever I would come back to Mumbai and, go back home, just to see the difference, when you come back, you just see like garbage lying all around. It's obviously disturbing to see, the state we have created for ourselves, and how much more cleaner, places like Switzerland are. And we always talk about settling there. And one of the main reasons for this is the fact that it's so clean and hygienic. Um, that's one of the major reasons why most people, choose to go abroad and stay, because of the mere fact that it's so clean. It's just so nice staying there because of the whole atmosphere. And that's one thing that we lack in our country. We do not have clean surroundings. We don't have, and that's the reason why most of us even like don't you wouldn't see like people in Bombay, like Mumbai here, going out for a walk, at Sea Face or just Nepean Sea Road or something. That's one of the reasons for it being how polluted the environment is. It's so polluted all the time. So I feel like that's been one of the biggest motivating factors to me to really create that change and to really inspire those around me.
I mean, sure, Raja Lakshmi. I mean, because of your efforts, I'm sure in the next 10 years, with a collective of climate activists as yours, when international media will be writing about India, the words unclean and dirty would be eliminated. And I'm glad you
Exactly. In fact,
started that.
that's the first impression that people have of India. They immediately think of slums, polluted areas, garbage mountains. In fact, in one of my classes out there, we were seeing this documentary or like this video on
Oh,
YouTube where of this waste pile in Delhi. And that's the kind of impression that people have of India, and that's it really disturbed me. It really made me, it disheartened me, and that's when I thought that it's high time that we, not only as the youth but as human beings, it's time to make change. And that's what motivates me and keeps me going every day.
yes. And it's in the hands of young Indians as yours that we change the first impression of India.
Exactly.
So, how has being a climate change activist changed you as a person?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's changed me as a person, but it has definitely changed my perspective towards lots of things. So I started participating in most of these environmental activities. I would say since around grade 6, 7. So it was really when I used to go for trips abroad and look how clean the surrounding was, when I realized that, why can't India be one of those countries? Why can't we have clean surroundings as those countries? And that really changed my perspective towards the environment, and drove me to take these environmental initiatives. Uh, it's changed me in the sense that I've started, my passion for the environment, of course, that has increased for sure. But it also has made me a more compassionate human being, and compassionate in the sense not only, having empathy for
Yeah,
having empathy for biodiversity around us. And in that sense, it's made me more passionate about nature. And of course, it's changed me also in the sense that I started living more sustainably now. Before, I used to use a plastic toothbrush to brush my teeth. Now I have my own bamboo toothbrush.
oh,
Or when I go out, I use a cloth bag instead of a plastic bag. So of course, it has also made like small lifestyle changes in my daily life. I try to lead a more sustainable life. So yes, in that sense, it has changed me, my habits, and definitely my perspective towards a range of environmental issues.
that is something we all should incorporate right now because it is very old fashioned now to have luxurious products, but it's more trendy to be sustainable. And that is quite
Definitely.
a terrific initiative that you have taken. And it starts with ourselves, and every person counts. It's going to be a huge movement.
Exactly. When people start putting in the efforts at an individual, at a personal level, that's when you start seeing, a bigger impact. Because small efforts together, they culminate into one larger impact. And I feel that's the way we can solve the environmental crisis that our country and the world is facing right now.
I mean, it is very important, Rajalakshmi, that you shared about your daily practical and impactable sustainable actions, because we humans are biologically homo sapiens, and homo sapiens is basically apes. And apes, as it is said, we imitate each other, we ape each other. And you being an influencer, by large, people are going to imitate you, humans are going to imitate you. And I'm sure one by one, as people listen to your narrative, it's going to be very impactful. So it was very important that you shared about your personal choices.
No, please don't call me an influencer. There's still time to get there. But if I can create any sort of impact that I can, a positive impact, of course, on people, I feel like I have done my bit at least in trying to kind of spread that awareness and educate people about the environmental issues that exist.
Exactly, Rajalakshmi. And you are an influencer. In fact, it's your modesty that you are not, and it's important, let other people describe you as influencers rather than you yourself describing. That's okay, let other people do it. But also at the same time, people should hear this again and again, that okay, this girl is practicing sustainable actions, that boy is practicing sustainable actions, and people who are not doing it, they should feel left out. Okay, so many people are doing it. Rajalakshmi is doing it, ABC is doing it, XYZ is doing it, I should also start doing it. I'm
Right.
glad you chipped in. You raised, you added your voice to the larger narrative, and it's going to be heard, it's going to be recorded, it's going to be imitated, and it's going to be followed. I'm very much sure.
I really hope it does.
So let's pivot to your student life. So, how would you describe your experience of being a school student now?
So I recently just graduated a month ago. Yeah, I think it's been a month or two, and I shifted when I was in grade 11. I went science in the sense that it has made me more open-minded, made me a risk taker. It has broadened my horizon of knowledge, and it has had like an overall all-rounded development on my personality, my academics, and even my physical education. So I would say that if I had to describe myself before I shifted to open, maybe I wasn't even that confident in the sense that maybe it was hard for me to open up to people, understand different perspectives, because when you live in a place for such a long time, you're like in this your own bubble of yours. You're like just living in this condensed version of reality. And somewhere down the line, that my experience in my school in Switzerland was it's like so hard to put it even in words, because you actually have to experience it to know what I because any word that I say would do injustice to my experience there. But yeah, it's been great. I mean, obviously it's not been all rainbows and sunshines. There have been a few setbacks in the sense that shifting to a boarding school in another country, in another continent, that's obviously been the difficult part. But all my friends out there, my teachers, were so helpful, they were so kind, and they helped me adjust to the environment there very well. So it's been a truly great experience.
Yes, Rajalakshmi. I mean, congratulations. You got graduated from Aiglon College. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Aiglon College, Switzerland. So congratulations to you on that. And I actually, yes, I'm very much curious to know. I mean, you lived in a different continent altogether, away from your parents and away from your extended family. So while you were abroad, I mean, how were you able to avoid bad company, distractions, and still excel in your studies?
So luckily for me, I had a very good set of friends. Everyone in my boarding house was very nice, was very kind to me, and all along my life at boarding school, I tried to keep, I tried to be more focused, not only focused on academics, but they offered a range of physical activities like football, skiing. So I would keep myself busy either skiing or playing football, badminton, and that's helped me just keep my focus, keep my commitment, dedication to my sports, to my academics. My teachers, of course, were really helpful. And yes, it is of course very easy to get distracted, but I think once you have your mission, once you have your thoughts and your goals in the right direction, there's no way you can falter.
But
Of
did you
course,
like follow? Yeah.
sometimes you do tend to make mistakes, but every mistake just helps you grow and become evolve as a person. And all of that just shapes you to grow, helps you progress. And yes, it's been a roller coaster ride, but a totally worth it experience. And it's It's helped me grow and evolve as a person in all aspects, academically, physically, and there are some people obviously who are bound to get distracted, because sometimes it's so tempting to try new things or to
Mm.
experience new things, but it's the choice lies up to you. The choice completely lies in your hand. So if you do make a decision that might not be that might not be morally right, you bear your own consequences, right? So you should be prepared to face the consequences. And in that mindset, in that thought process, if you think about making decisions and just not do things because others are doing it, then I don't think you then I don't think you falter. I always believe in thinking before doing something, thinking about the consequences, thinking about how it may affect, whom it may affect. And yeah, just making the right choices is very important, of course, when you go abroad and when you're in a completely different environment. So I hope that answers your question.
Truly, but I still wanted to dig deeper. I mean, because our thoughts are very fickle. I mean, we think one thing in one moment, and the next moment it changes very quickly. It changes its color. Our thoughts are like chameleons. So, are there any strategies that you followed, or any rituals or habits that you followed that sort of kept your thought process on ground? And this is a spontaneous question. I mean, I just became curious to know, like something that you did every day that kept you on ground, that gave you more clarity in your thinking, like writing a diary or praying or whatever.
Right. So if you see, whenever you grow a tree, the roots are always, the tree doesn't grow unless the roots are there. So for me, my roots are my family, of course, who are in Mumbai. So I always made a habit to talk to my parents every day. It would be a video call or a simple phone call, but I made it a habit to talk to them every single day. And they would always remind me of my goals and my ambitions, and they would always tell me to think before before making decisions. And that's what kept me grounded, that's what kept me focused, talking to my parents every day, talking to my family. And that's what's kept me going, kept me focused, and been truly a motivating factor for me, and also helped my distractions and the thought processes me. So talking to them regularly really helps, because where you're always there's always something happening. So either there's a roll call, or maybe it's dinner, or like it's senior sports time, or just you have your classes. So you're always busy doing something or the other. So you're never not free. They always keep you occupied with some activity or the other. So it's very difficult to lose your focus that way, because there's not even like, I remember during the first week itself, we had on the Monday, on the first Monday of school, I had roll call at 7 in the morning. Then my classes went on till around 3:34, and after that I had badminton, and then we had dinner like together as a house. We have to go to the school cafeteria, and then we played some football, and then of course we had our study time. And this, my routine like this went on till 10 o'clock every day. And then of course you get so exhausted after that, because there is, you're so busy doing so many things, you're so engaged. This, it's so difficult to lose your focus, because it becomes a routine in the end, and you tend to follow it like every day. So in that sense, it's very hard to lose your focus, and you're always like grounded that way.
Agreed, agreed. I mean, students these days are as busy as the CEOs. I mean, we already are so occupied. We don't have a lot
Exactly. And
to.
plus being an IB student, there's like so much work on your plate already. So
Yes, agreed. I mean, so, looking back at your school life, what is the one thing that you would like to change about your past?
school life, you would say in Switzerland, or my school, my
A
education
collective,
until 10th
collective
grade?
of your uh, school life. Anything.
To be honest, if there's one thing I would change in my school life was I wish I was better at math on a side note, but
Yeah,
that's something I really wish I could change. I wish I studied
everybody
more for
wants to
math,
be
but
better at math, except for
no,
this
I but I
one or
think it's
two
something
people.
that runs through family.
Okay.
No, but if there's one thing I would like to change about my schooling experience would, of course, last year would be, so last year actually in my 11th grade, in March when the pandemic happened, we were asked to leave school because all countries were closing borders and we were asked to go back home. So, of course, if there's one thing that I could change is probably, wished for the pandemic not to happen. But on a personal note, I would say at least till 10th grade in school, maybe I was not that involved in, or like at least till eighth grade. Till eighth grade, I was not involved in school leadership as such because I was not that confident. I was not an outgoing, I was not that extroverted. Public speaking. But I think it all changed at least in eighth grade for me. Towards the end of eighth grade, when one of my teachers she told me to participate in an elocution competition, and that was one of my first public speaking appearances, and I tried that and I really enjoyed it. Just speaking in front of an audience, and since then I have been able to conduct events, talk in front of crowds, and I wish I'd done that earlier, maybe before the eighth. I wish I was more active in the school leadership as such. But then slowly after that one elocution, I started involving myself more. I was eventually appointed in the student council in my old school in Mumbai, and at Eglon I was a sustainability ambassador. But yeah, definitely I would say that's one of the things I wish I could change in my schooling experience. And overall I've enjoyed my my education. There's nothing really much I would like to change because I'm happy with all the decisions that I made. uh, but yeah, I hope the pandemic never happened last year. I would have gotten to ski more.
Oh yeah, the Alps, the Aspen. You have got Aspen in Switzerland,
Yeah, right.
right? And yeah, I
Because we
mean,
were asked to leave during a skiing season. It was like a skiing season going on in March, and that's when we were asked to leave. So I just got to ski for half the season.
you can always go back and redo your
Oh,
routine.
definitely. I'm gonna go again in December. I'm gonna go every year.
But yeah, like coming to the conversation, I mean, elocution competitions, they do change lives. I agree. I
Right.
completely
Absolutely.
agree to that. Absolutely. It's a life-changing experience. And I share that in my own school days. And I'm glad we both resonate
Oh, that's great.
similarly. Yeah, seriously. So now we'll move on to something informal, however, um, fun and informal, but you can still like give your thoughts, like elaborate thoughts on that. So how did you like
For sure.
manage to study the subjects you hated the most? So this is like very chill question, but at the same time you can like tell the students like how we can go about something we don't like.
Okay, firstly, I managed to study the subjects I hated the most because I was forced. Because it's obviously compulsory to study mathematics till
Yeah.
12th grade. There was no option out. I had to study it. But I think just I really didn't enjoy studying it. But the fact that it's just that pressure, not pressure, I would say, but just the fact that I had to study in order to pass. Like only for that pure reason I would study. I did try to force myself to enjoy it to a certain extent, but I think you just can't force yourself to do some things. But I feel my teachers played a great role in making me actually understand the subject and making me understand the subject and understanding concepts. And especially for for a subject like math, it's only when you practice and practice do you become better at it. So I had a great set of teachers in school who tried to make math as fun as possible. We would play like games and stuff, they would bring games to like help us understand concepts better. And I feel like there's no way out, like for some subjects which you have to study. It's just continuous practice and continuous understanding of concepts, do you become better at it. But for me, what I did was in ninth and 10th, you get to choose your subjects which you want to study. So I chose the subjects which I loved studying and I enjoyed studying. So actually, in fact, in ninth grade, we had to choose between either chemistry or history. And I was really confused because everyone was taking science at that time, everyone was taking the sciences part. And chemistry, I somewhat, I kind of liked it, but not as much as I liked history. And plus, even if you take a subject like history, there are comparative parts as compared to chemistry. So I was in a huge dilemma, which subject to choose. And then I remember speaking to my dad, and he told me, Rajlakshmi, if you have free time, and would you read a chemistry textbook or would you read a history textbook? And that's when it occurred to me that, I'm definitely going to take history because that is something that I truly enjoy. Because for me, history is not just a subject, it's like a story. History is like a narrative. It's something that I truly enjoy. It's something that I don't mind reading for endless hours. And like that, I chose subjects that I enjoy studying. Like I took history, I took economics, I took business management, and all these subjects I really, really, really enjoy. So there were very few subjects that I hated except for math, of course. And I would say that pretty much answers your question. Just take what you like, take what you enjoy, study what you have passion for, and don't just do things because everyone else is doing it, or don't just do things because it's considered like mainstream, or because that's what you should be taking, because that's what everyone else is taking. So I really took subjects that I enjoy. In fact, in ninth grade, my school even offered a subject called environmental management, and I was one of the few students who took that subject. There were, I think, 9 or 10 people in my class, I would say, because everyone else took biology, chemistry, or physics, and very few people actually took that subject. And EVM was one of the subjects that I truly enjoyed studying. So I didn't really have to force myself to study any of this. I enjoyed doing it, and for me, it was more of a learning experience than like a studying experience.
Exactly. So I got 3 points from your wonderful narration. So first, I'm glad you highlighted the conversation with your father where he actually, you both actually discussed. I mean, if you have free time, what would you read? So, we all can actually choose this to decide whether we want to choose humanities, whether we want to choose science, or whether we want to choose commerce. And as you said correctly, that we don't need to follow the herd, we don't need to follow the crowd.
Exactly. In fact, in India, that's what happens most of the time. Like,
Exactly.
at least at the end of 10th grade, it's either you choose the science pathway, the engineering pathway, or like commerce. Like, you build these streams. I had the freedom, luckily, to choose subjects which I enjoyed studying. So for me, even when people ask me, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you pursuing?" and I would just be like, "It's so confusing to answer such a question because for me, I'm not pursuing a particular stream. I'm just studying what I like, what interests me. So it's not a fixed stream. It's like a range of subjects that I enjoy studying."
Yeah, like exactly. I mean, and also on giving it a deeper thought, I mean, in life, we always have bad subjects. I mean, there are the
Correct.
good parts and there are the bad parts. No matter what, they never escape us. And
Right.
it is very important that we learn to force ourselves to commit or to learn bad subjects in good spirits as soon as possible. So, and
Right.
it really helped to listen to you. And so even if I am way past my schooling and way past my 11th and 12th, it was very helpful to listen to your story. And so, what are the best and the worst parts of appearing for exam according to you?
I think the best part is just the fact that you get to and I would say and the worst part is actually studying for the exam. No, I'm just joking, but for me, best part of giving the exam is that actually that I don't know. It's so hard to think because I haven't written an exam in so long. I think it's just that the fact that when you are in that examination mindset, when you have to give exams, you need to balance. You need to decide your priorities. It You need to be balanced. It makes you focused, and you're in that mindset. And for example, when I had my board exams in grade 10, my 10th grade board exams, it's actually the fact this that pressure which you get during that examination time period. It also helps you learn stress management, it helps you learn time management, and in that process you develop so many skills. But it's also important to understand that that pressure can sometimes people don't take that pressure well. So just studying, of course it's not going to make you successful, nor in that exam, nor going to be good for your mental health, not going to be good for your physical well-being. So what exams have taught me or benefited me in the sense that I've learned to manage my time better, be more organized. So I make it a routine that whenever I have exams, I will also try to maybe play a game for 1 hour, maybe go out and play a sport or go for a walk. And in that sense, you become more organized, more you manage your time well. I would say, of course, the worst part is the time crunch which you have, because I personally don't believe that a student's knowledge should be just judged through one paper that you write. I'm completely against that because it's actually just stupidity. How can you something you've learned for the past 13, 10 years of your life, how can you judge someone's knowledge just through one paper? Maybe they were having a bad day, maybe they're going through something, or there's so many circumstances that can affect you at that point of time. So that's one of the reasons or setbacks I would say about exams. But yes, it is kind of a great way to judge a student's knowledge and exam. I would say more than knowledge, the student's examination skills rather than knowledge.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you articulated it very well. I mean, appreciate the way you just put it out there in words, and I'm sure it resonates with every other student who has gone through this um, challenging, exciting, and at the same time horrifying experience of the board exams. I'm sure it resonates with everybody. You speak for everyone. So, like, how did you overcome exam stress? What strategies did you employ?
So whenever I study, I make sure I study productively. So I think studying, even if you study for 2 hours, and you have to ensure that you study productively in those 2 hours. There's no point studying for 12 hours, no point pulling all nighters if nothing's going to register in your brain. So I never personally, the maximum I can't stay awake beyond 12 or even 11:30 to study. Like I fall asleep on my books. Even my roommate, like she would stay awake till maybe 2 a.m., 3 a.m. studying, and I would be dead asleep in my bed by 11:30, 12, because I can't stay awake that late. But I make it a fact that whenever I'm studying, like even for an hour or two, I am actually studying productively, and that I'm learning everything, making most use of my time in those 2 hours, and it's productive studying. So that is one aspect of ensuring that regardless of how much time you're like taking to study, ensure that you use most, like, you make that you quality over quantity. So you're not pulling an all-nighter, which
And
I do not really encourage.
yeah, you said it on point. I mean, it's a constant reminder, like don't pull out an all-nighter, don't pull out an all-nighter. It's completely unnecessary. I mean,
Yeah, I
and
remember once I actually tried to stay awake till 3 or 4 in the morning, and I was so sleepy during my exam. I was so exhausted the next day. Like nothing, like I just didn't have the mind to even give the exam the next day. So since then, I just study during the day, study, even for 2-3 hours, just study productively, make sure that I'm learning everything and I'm not just going through it on a surface level. Using schedule. Using schedule is creating a schedule. So before, of course, I wasn't a person who would like stick to my schedule or actually, write a schedule. But I do have a diary where I lay out, oh, this is what I'm going to be studying today. And once you have the checklist of, oh, this is what I want to finish today, then automatically your days become easier.
hi, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I can hear you, but I think the voice is getting delayed.
okay. Yeah, like even the screen, like blacked out. Yeah, yeah, you were telling about not studying at the surface level and preparing a checklist and getting getting it done step by step. Yeah, like just continue where you left
Another thing
from.
that has
Yeah.
helped, yeah, another thing that has helped me is, of course, ensuring that I am also physically fit. My physical wellness. It's also important to ensure that you're doing physically well. So like I said, I always would go and play a game of badminton. I am also socially interacting with my friends and not just isolated in a room just looking at my books. Parents always during my exams they come and ask me that they would tell me, go down and play or go play a sport, don't just sit in front of your books the whole day, because you need that sort of fresh air, you need that energy. Once you're physically well, once you're physically fit, then your mental state automatically becomes better. And that I've seen a huge change in me when compared to the days when I'm just sitting and just looking at my books. So even before my board exams, I go down for a walk, maybe for an hour or two, or I go and play a game of badminton, and that keeps me energized, that keeps me boosted, and that really helps me, be more livelier and happier, and that helps me improve my concentration while studying.
True, like taking breaks is the most important part and the most
Of
underrated.
course, definitely, and
So,
eating good
yeah,
food, of course.
yeah, yes, and eating good food. That is also that should be taken seriously, right?
And good food in the sense not eating like junk food. My mom would make me eat like 5 almonds a day, or eating healthy food, because healthy food also helps you improve your concentration and your focus. I would also have chawan prash. My mom would make me chawan prash. So, what I mean to say is, you need uh, to be focused, and even to improve your memory power in that sense, it's important to eat healthy, have a healthy diet, be physically fit, and all of this helps you improve your mental state and your memory power, which eventually will help you do well in your exams.
Thank you so much for sharing your tips and very much helpful and very much practical and most importantly very honest. In the domain of exams, it is very rare and very and close to impossible to get honest review or an honest information around it, because people want to tell you one thing, but they don't want to be honest. So I'm glad you chose to be honest.
I'd like to add here one more thing that really helped me. I would say one of the most important factors for me in helping me do well in my exams. Although it didn't happen this year, my exams got cancelled. Was studying with my friends and asking them to help. Like, we would take each other's work out. So my friend in Mumbai, we would have Zoom meetings every single day, and we would maybe discuss a past paper together, quiz each other, ask each other questions. And in that sense, you're also talking to your friends and learning at the same time. Because when you ask another person questions about a topic that you have an exam for, automatically you're learning at the same time. So studying with friends, of course, really helped me a lot. And a lot of people don't like studying with a group of people. Some prefer studying individually. But for me personally, I always like studying maybe with one friend, because that also keeps me going. It doesn't keep me completely isolated, and it's fun studying with your friends. Because then you get to quiz each other, and also there are various online quizzes that exist like Kahoot, which are like fun to play and learn at the same time.
Yeah, right. It always helps to hear out honest feedback. So, however, at the moment now after graduation, then what are you looking forward to?
Right now, I'm just looking forward to now, since I'm back in Mumbai, of course, now I can continue my environmental activities. I can continue cleaning the beach here. I can continue planting trees. So that's one of the major things that I'm looking forward to. Other than this, yes, of course, reconnecting with my friends back home, or reconnecting with my family and spending time with them. And I will also be attending university this fall in September, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay, okay. All right. So, I mean, did you face any situation in your life where you worked hard on a goal and were not able to achieve it?
I'm sorry, your voice is just breaking. Could you please
All
repeat
right.
the question?
So, did you ever face a situation in your life where you worked hard on a goal and were not able to achieve it? I mean, you're always working out on initiatives and you are always active in many domains. But in contrast, did you ever face a situation, even once, where you worked hard on a goal and were not able to achieve it?
There are so many times where it's happened where I've worked hard on something, but I've not been able to achieve it. Uh, for me particularly, I would want to share this. So it was actually, I think, I'm not sure about the year, but this was around, I'd say 5 years ago. I think I was 12 or 13 at that time, and I don't know if you know this, but I also practice karate. I'm a junior black belt in karate, a Shodan Ho, and I've been practicing Gojukai since the past more than, it's been 10 years, around 10 years. So this was the world tournament that had happened in Mumbai itself, at the NSCI Dome, and I was representing India for that world tournament. And I was participating in the kata. So kata is just, so you have in karate, you have kata and kumite. Kumite is the fighting part, and kata is basically just I don't know how to explain this, but it's just a bunch of karate moves that you do in front, do against an opponent, and the one who does it better obviously wins. So this was a world tournament, and I was representing India. Of course, it was an honor to do that. And the years and the months that we'd been practicing and training for the tournament, I'd never worked that hard for any tournament. Of course, firstly because I was representing my country, and to be participating in such a large scale, it's just truly a pleasure and an honor. So in karate, you have these belts which you tie around your costume. So they're really thick belts. They're very thick, and usually you have someone else tie it for you because it's hard to tighten it yourself. So I remember in that tournament, I think your video has. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
you clearly. Yeah.
so this was on the day of the tournament. I was all ready. I was ready to perform my kata. I think it was a girl from Japan, if I'm not wrong, who I was competing against. And unfortunately, while performing my kata, my belt touched the ground. And if your belt touches the ground, you get disqualified. You get disqualified automatically,
Oh.
and you're out of the tournament. So I don't know how, but my belt happened to touch the ground because it was not tightened enough, and I was disqualified in the first round itself. And that was very disheartening because I'd been training for years for that particular tournament, and to even lose in such a way, in such a trivial way, in which you could have possibly lost. Like, even if I maybe completed the kata and lost, okay, fine, I would be okay with that, because that's a mistake on my end, on my performance end. But this was something very technical, something I never thought I'd lose for, your bell touching the ground. So obviously I was very disappointed. It was very disheartening because I like practiced a lot for that particular tournament. It was a world tournament and I was representing India. So I went home, I cried because it was such a big loss for me. And after that, my coach, he told me that it's okay, keep practicing, keep going, there'll be many such more tournaments that are going to come. And I practiced, and eventually I got my junior black belt in karate in 2018. And that's only taught me to keep going, and that failures aren't always the end. And despite that one particular incident, I did not stop doing karate. Finished my junior black belt, and I'm hoping to give my final first dan black belt exam in a few months, given lockdown restrictions ease. But that was one of the setbacks that had happened. But I did not let it stop my passion for the martial art. It did not stop me from, in fact, it made me more stronger. And I made sure that next time when I'm on the karate, when I'm in the dojo or in a tournament, that I do not make these mistakes. So that was one of the incidents where it was disheartening, but it also helped me grow and evolve more as a person.
I mean, first, congratulations on being selected for the international karate tournament. And
Thank you.
yes, I mean, just listening to that gave me a lot of goosebumps. So it's a big achievement in itself. And secondly, I am glad and I am inspired by the decisions you took even after a terrible experience that you had to go through, you were forced to go through. And I'm sure this is going to inspire many people who might have had similar experiences in their lives. I value so much that you chose to open up and you share it.
No,
So,
it's very important to understand that sometimes you should not let small mistakes change your decisions. Some mistakes are bound to happen, and you should always learn from these mistakes, because mistakes in the end are learnings. You shouldn't call them ever mistakes and never think of them as mistakes. They're always learnings, and it only helps you gain more achievements in the future.
a small question, by the way, I just thought of what philosophy guided you through the whole experience of recovery? What is that one line or one philosophy that guided you?
uh, Philosophy, I would say, um, so karate, in the aspect, in the field of karate, especially after that particular tournament, sometime after that, it was a Maharashtra state tournament, and I had reached till the finals. It was kumite fighting, where you actually fight with an opponent and score points. And I remember that it was my coach who came up to me and he told me, and it was one of those intense tournaments where you're just sweating and you're in that in that whole tournament mood, and where you just want to win. And you're very tired and exhausted by the end of it, and just like sweating all over. And it's one of those intense games it was for me, and one of my most memorable games. And it was my coach who came up to me and he told me that it doesn't matter if you win or you lose. What matters is the hours of hard work that you've put in, your dedication, your passion, and what you learn out of it. So that particular incident obviously helped me learn and to improve on my skills more. So the philosophy being here that never give up because of a few one or two incidents that have happened. Learn from those incidents instead, and use it to help you grow. And that's what my coach always told. It's a Japanese philosophy to always, if you meet Japanese people or their Japanese value, it's always to stay calm. The Zen mood, as they say,
Yes.
Zen mood, to be always calm and patient. So you shall be calm and patient whatever you're doing. Never take decisions out of anger, never do things in a hurry. So I've kept my patience, I've kept my calm all along. And that's one of the greatest art and skill one should have when whatever one does. So be it karate, be it for studying, be it even socializing or whatever one's doing, like it's always important to have your calm and patience. And that's one philosophy that I've kept throughout. I've learned to be calm and patient because even to get from a white belt to a shodan ho, it takes years of training and practice. I remember when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I won that black belt. And I didn't understand the significance of a black belt that time, because I just thought you could just, go and buy it in a shop, because I was really small and I didn't understand how it works. So I would tell my mom, can you please buy it in a shop for me? And then when once I started training and growing up, I realized the amount of hard work you actually need to put in to get to that level. And that's when I understood the importance of patience. Being patient is very, very important, because not everything's going to be served to you on a silver platter. Not everything's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to take years and years. And you just need to have that cool and zen, that focused mind. And that's what's going to help you succeed.
Wow, that was so enlightening to listen to. And on a in a nutshell, I mean, you really taught me to, not see one particular incident of a life as life itself, and if we see our life from a bird's eye view as a bigger picture, that particular incident is just one dot on the timeline of your life, which is in fact very huge and very vast. And our life is way beyond one or two instances or experiences that happen to us.
Right.
So the closing question or the final or on the final note, I would want to ask, now millennials in India are burdened with cutthroat competition and societal pressure to achieve high marks. That's not a secret, it's an open secret. So this is leading to an increasing number of student suicides and depression and anxiety. So, what is your confidence boosting advice to countless such students who are watching this conversation, who, regardless of their individual achievements, they never feel good enough? What is your advice to these students?
So, as you spoke about competition, there's always healthy competition and unhealthy competition. And I would say that even though you might not be surrounded by the best people, and even though you might be surrounded by people who are not, you keep your mind focused. And to keep your mind focused, what you need, again, as I said, is a calm and a cool mind. Do not make decisions out of hurry. And I think I've shared this with you also personally, that music has truly helped me a lot. Music has been an integral part of my life. So even when I'm having one of my low days or when I'm feeling low, I always listen. I always, like, that's been my remedy, that's been my medicine for me. So I always listen to music, be it Western music or Sufi music. I listen to all kinds of music, and it just helps me enlighten my mood. It helps me make my day better. It helps me focus. So sometimes I just go and pick up the guitar, maybe play some tunes on the piano. So music for me, and I guess for a lot of people, it just helps change your mood completely. So definitely music is one thing. Even in fact, when I'm studying like for math or something, I always play, like, maybe our teacher used to play jazz music in class, or when we used to solve sums. um, of course there's going to be, people who are very competitive and want to bring you down all the time. But it's important to remember that the people who try to bring you down are always below you. Okay, so you need to keep your head held high. You need to understand what the bigger purpose in life is, what your goals and dreams are. People will say what they want to say, let them say, because dogs only bark. And why listen to people who do not have, who are not even half as ambitious as you, and their only ambition is to actually bring you down and criticize you. And it's important to be surrounded with even good company. Keep yourself surrounded by people who are positive, people who are hardworking, people who are ambitious, people who think positively. So if you have that set, you have that positive environment, you have that positive vibe, you give out the same energy. So I feel, even given the lockdown with online studies, it's not been easy to cope up with. So in that sense, it's also important to take a break, as you said, take frequent breaks while, be it whatever you're doing, whatever activity you're pursuing. Take frequent breaks. And on a personal note, you should also go and talk to a friend. If you're going through something, go and talk it out with someone. It makes you feel better. Never bottle up your emotions, because once you bottle up all those emotions, it eventually, you increase the pressure, and once all of that comes out, it might not be in the best way. So you need to slowly release that pressure, maybe by going out for a walk, talking to someone about it. Maybe if it gets to a point where you cannot control what you're going through, or you are just, as you said, use the word depressed, or maybe consulting, or getting medical help. So that might be going to a therapist, or speaking to a medical professional. But on a more lesser serious note, if you're just going through normal highs and lows, which everyone goes through, i feel I feel like even spirituality, as I've mentioned it in my previous interviews as well, has
Yes.
helped me a lot to be more positive in life. Because it really kind of opens you up to this world, which, not world, I would say, this, I would say, realm of universe, which we don't live in, or we don't really understand. Because right now we're so like entrapped in this reality, as you would call it. But in the end, um, you need to look at the bigger picture of life. You need to realize that what your future goals and ambitions are, and if what you're doing right now is really going to help you 10 years down the line. And once you realize that, it's when you start having that personal experience. So I remember I was very scared of skiing. I was like terrified of skiing. I would make all sorts of excuses to miss my skiing classes during the first few days of skiing. Like I would tell, I would like have a stomach ache or maybe a headache, and I would always find myself, trying to skip skiing classes. And then, but our school was actually very serious on us going to ski. Like it was a part of our school curriculum. We had to go and ski. And that's when I realized there was no point actually going and making these excuses, and that I had to go skiing. So for a lot of for the longest time I had to force myself and go and ski. But I never enjoyed it at the beginning, because I always had that negative frame of mind, thinking that, oh, I'm going to fall, oh, I'm going to fall, what if this happens, what if that happens. And because of that, I never did well in skiing for the first few months. But after some time, during the next skiing session, when I realized that I have to ski again, that's when I realized that, there's no point me saying that I don't want to ski, because I have to do it. And skiing for us was 2 hours twice a week. And I forced myself to enjoy skiing. I forced myself to be in that positive mindset. And because of that, I started enjoying skiing. So when you're in that positive mindset, when you're in that frame of mind that, oh, you know what, I'm going to try and actually learn something today, or I'm going to try and actually enjoy skiing today, you automatically start enjoying it and you want to do it more. So we used to have optional skiing classes on Saturday where it was not mandatory to go and ski on Saturdays, but I voluntarily would want to go and ski because I started enjoying it so much. Because once you remove that fear out of your mind, once you remove all those negative thoughts, that, oh, you're going to fall, instead of saying, oh, you're going to fall, you say, oh, so I would say just have a positive mindset, and whatever is meant to happen will eventually happen. So do not worry that much about the future, and just stay grounded, just focus, and always have a positive mindset.
Can you repeat the segment where you said, "Oh, I'm gonna fall," and then can you repeat it for
Right.
technical? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying that when you're skiing, initially I was always like, oh, I'm going to fall and I'm going to probably fracture my leg today. But then once you remove those negative thoughts out of your mind, and you go with the positive mindset that instead I'm going to learn something today and I'm actually going to enjoy doing it. So once I removed those negative thoughts out of my mind, and I just went with the flow, that's when I started enjoying it. So even on Saturdays I would voluntarily go and ski, and I would in fact sign up for more skiing sessions than what we were asked for. So I that's what my message here is, that you should always have a positive mindset, and don't let your negative thoughts get to you. Of course, you're going to have negative thoughts that might come to you, but in the end, they're just thoughts, and what you make out of it is more important. So whatever you do, be it giving an exam or taking up an initiative, always do with a positive framework. And to build that positive mindset is equally as important. And for that, I would say music has been a very important part of my journey, and writing, of course, writing poems has helped me create that positive framework, and also the people you surround yourself with.
Yes, we are certainly looking forward to the next edition of your book. And yeah, I mean, you just said that you love music. So is it possible that we can see a demo of your music skills right now?
Right now, I would
Yeah,
my guitar. I'm just gonna go and grab my guitar. I'll just see if
sure.
it's tuned.
Yes, it's okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you can see my guitar, but I hope it's tuned. I haven't used this one in a long time. So I'm just gonna play a little tune from this song called Summer is 69.
Yes,
It's
Brian
by Brian
Adams.
Adams. And this is actually a song that I love a lot, because it's a ritual that, so I'm actually part of a band called Evolution, and it's a ritual that we as a band, so this was the first song we performed as a band in school, and since then we've been performing this song at every concert. We make it a fact that at least at every concert we perform this one, so it's like a trademark um, go-to song. I just hope I remember it. I don't know if you can hear it.
Yes, it's clearly audible.
I don't know if that came clearly to you.
I mean, yes, it got interrupted in between. Would you love to do it once more? So I'll edit it and I'll put the best parts in the final cut.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
that much was fine.
Yeah, this was fantastic. And we've already got the stadium over, you've already got the DY Patil Stadium, and now we've got the performer right in the family, the in-house performer. And I do look forward to purchasing your tickets someday. And I will be there. And but you have to assure me a backstage pass.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'll purchase the tickets and the front row tickets in the stadium, and I'll watch you
Hopefully, we're able
perform.
to have concerts by then, with COVID and all.
So good for
Hopefully.
until then you can like start practice and you can like create a masterpiece and then you can just get on with the live show. And you guys have any YouTube channel? I mean, you said that you are a part of a band. So
Yeah, so we used to jam before. We do have a YouTube channel, but they're very old videos. In fact, we're meeting next week on Sunday to just reunite once. Because once I went to this is actually my band from Mumbai. It's not my band in Switzerland. So once I left, we started meeting lesser. So yes, we do have a YouTube channel though. It's called Evolution Official, if I'm not wrong. But they're pretty
Evolution official.
good. It's on Instagram too. Evolution Official 6, if I'm not wrong. But it's been a
Evolution
while since we've posted
official
stuff.
6. I'll put it in the description. I'll put the link in the description so that
I think it's fine because we don't really use that account that much to upload any new stuff.
all right. Whatever you feel comfortable. And yeah, it's better this is informal, so to wait and sort of wait and then put it out to the audience. And yeah, right. But I would love to watch your channel, like, personally.
Oh yeah, you can just wear it on
Yeah.
Instagram. You can just we have a few videos here and there.
Thank you so much, Rajlakshmi, for joining the show and for uh, infusing your inspiring thoughts into the conversation. And you have added a lot to the narrative of sustainability, mental health, and student well-being. And I'm sure you're going to carry forward your initiative and your stories to great levels. So all the best to you for your bright future.
Thank you so much, and it's always a pleasure talking to you. And I am sure you're going to do well in whichever path you take and
Thank you.
any endeavor you take. So best of luck.
Same to you. I'll always keep being inspired. You'll always
Thank
keep
you.
inspiring me.